And we're live.
Yeah.
All right.
30. I say this every time. 30 seconds is a surprisingly long time if you're not prepared for it.
Yes. And so sorry about the noise. We've got a little bit of there we go. We got a little bit of
Ooh, now I don't feel so short.
air conditioning situation, but it might be like
it's called summer in Japan.
Yes, it's pretty brutal. It's raining and hot at the moment, so
yeah, that's Japan. Raining and hot.
Enjoying that. So how is everyone doing? Yeah, welcome to our quarter thousandth episode.
Quarter thousandth. I was trying to think of something like closer to like half of 500, but I couldn't think of one that was like 500.
Yes.
Quarter thousand.
So we're quarter way to 1,000 episodes.
So by saying that, you now are kind of promising that we have to go to 1,000.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oof.
Oh, no. Oh, that's going to be brutal. But, so I was worried. It's like, well, there's nothing happening. We're not doing anything special. And then God answered.
I was going to say, you delivers. Yep.
Yes. Ask and ye shall receive. So
if you don't want to receive, don't ask.
Yes.
Right?
We got some great breaking news for this week. So how is everybody doing?
Ooh, yeah, a lot of people in the chat.
Yeah, good to see everybody. Nice.
Ex-executive producer. You could just say ex-executive producer.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, Miguel broke the news for me this morning. I was like, hey, wow, that's good to see. Huh. But a little sleazy, little slinking away. Yeah, a little.
Did we expect anything different?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, what's the meme on social media? Is like, this is not an airport. You don't have to announce your departures, right?
Yes. So it's very much like that.
Oh, nice shirt. I just kind of noticed it.
Oh, yeah. There we go. A little thematic here. We're going to be talking about something. Yeah. Something reprinted. Nice. Oh, cool. Nice. A little.
Yeah, I am sporting my work attire.
Sporting work attire. Well, it wouldn't be. That's the theme we've been doing for all these years. So we may as well stick to it. But good to see everyone. Clarion and Miguel and Matt and Abyss and Orcus. Yeah, Orcus ordered this shirt for Gen Con. Nice. Yeah, there's some good old retro. That a lot of. I don't know if it's being legally done, but I'm seeing a lot of like print on demand, like some old D&D art.
I'm fine with the money not going to any representatives.
That's true. Yeah, there's a.
For in that case, right? Not in the case of other places.
Right. Yeah, that's true. It's not breaking my heart. Very cool. But yes, we'll have some fun. We'll do that all up front, I guess. So what have you been doing gaming wise?
Not a lot.
Not much. Yeah.
Not a lot. It's like a 3-day weekend, and the in-laws are visiting and staying over at our place. So the past couple weekends have just been like cleaning up and stuff. And
right.
Yeah. So not much gaming wise.
Yeah, I kind of get the same situation. I got family visiting, and so I'm trying to get everything in order so it doesn't look like our messy daily life.
Yeah.
And just trying to, because it's just like not storage here. There's not space to put stuff, so there's just stuff everywhere.
I made storage for all my I made myself like a paint rack, so it was really annoying having to like pack it all. That's the thing that kind of kills a lot of hobbies for me, like having to pack it all away at the end of every night, because as you said, there is no storage. There's no leave it up and continue working on it. I mean, I got a desk that was just covered with crap, right? So finally, like building myself like a paint rack where things can be kind of permanently out, but like away.
Yeah, nice.
So hopefully things will kind of get back into some. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Hopefully, I'm doing some things sometime soon. Yeah.
Good. Yes, we got 3-day weekend coming up too. Yeah. So, but you're going to be busy.
I'm going to be busy.
You're going to be relatively busy.
Yep, relatively busy. No, my role is taking care of the kid.
Oh, right.
Which, I'm still busy.
Nice. All right. Well, good to see everybody. Yeah, let's get started.
I'm all set.
All right. Get my notes here. All right.
Notes? I thought we just added everything.
Right. We're moving to a teleprompter soon.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Welcome to the Weekly. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Chris.
And this week on the Weekly, board game publishers scammed.
Okay.
Phantasy Star for tabletop.
I'm uninterested because I already looked at this.
Oh, yes. Etsy now sells AI.
Last time I buy anything from Etsy.
Right. And Sexist Gary Gygax.
filed under not news, right? Okay.
Oh, that's old.
That's old.
Put that in the old category. But first, breaking news.
Honestly, guys like me can't leave soon enough.
Oh, that got used what, twice?
Yeah, I know. It's now we retire it forever. Well, we can keep watching. It just doesn't have the same meaning.
Okay, like I'm interrupting here, but like watching for something to happen, cool. After it happens and you keep watching, kind of gets
kind of gets weird.
Creepy, kind of gets weird, right? Then you're just watching, like why?
Why are you still following me on social media? Anyhow, well, I got a tip from Miguel, and I wanted to take a look at the LinkedIn page of a certain Kyle Brink.
In God's name, would you ever go to LinkedIn?
So supposedly this would have been the 531st day, but there's tissue there if you need it. But
because I would be crying, right? Okay.
Yeah, the clock has stopped. No. We're no longer counting. 3 black halflings are celebrating that the thing that they talked to that was going to soon be leaving the industry has left. So yes, and let's find confirmation of that. So scroll, and of course let's look at the name that he chose for his LinkedIn, Gamesmith.
But I mean, like, okay, you know what?
But the first job is real estate scammer and hot tub owner. We can get through that later. But so he obviously made this at a much later date. So if we go down, look at that, Wizards of the Coast, executive producer. Wait a minute, May. It ends. It has an end date, May 2024. So he's the
1 year, 11 months.
Yes,
I was trying to figure out. I'm like July 2020.
Yeah, so he's the executive producer of D&D. Yeah, so Kyle snuck away in the middle of the night. Yeah, so right under his biography, former executive producer. And so Kyle Brink is no more. He kept his promise. He's returned to the mothership, as all of the people of his kind do, because they're leaving. They're not only leaving Wizards of the Coast, they're leaving the industry and possibly the planet. I mean, he didn't clarify, so we'll be leaving.
He didn't clarify, so we're just making bullshit up, apparently.
Because people of his kind. But just as I think we touched on this back when we first, our focus came upon him, but he's worked for some of the shittiest companies in video games forever, and I don't know how Wizards of the Coast, I guess they were looking at digital, like people that came from, PC gaming and console gaming backgrounds, because he worked for NCSoft, a horrible company, AreaNet, a horrible company, and then I have to do more here, don't I? All the positions, and but the thing that everybody loves that we eventually get down to is he was at Sega when Sega was trying to develop domestically in North America. That didn't go well. And Activision, another shit video game company. Cryptic, okay, well that's not the worst thing in the world. But president and owner of Brentwood Pool and Spa Inc. So he was the president owner of a jacuzzi hot tub dealership in Brentwood, California.
Hey man, everyone has to start somewhere, right?
Well, yeah, that sounds like Daddy started you somewhere. And maybe he sold OJ his hot tub?
I don't know. Okay. You know what? If my dad was in a position to leave me with some kind of business or some kind of company that I could run.
You just point at a business and he buys it for you. Yeah.
If I had the ability to do that, I would have done so. Right?
I see. Yes, but a very, very enjoyable read if you want to go through this wacky LinkedIn.
For certain definitions of enjoyable?
Yeah, so he came out of the game industry right into Wizards and was lingered for a few years, made plenty of mistakes, but it's great his description of everything he was able to do
at Wizards.
At Wizards, including the OGL situation in early 2023. And he met all committed release dates, so hooray for him. And the weird thing is the two things that he brags about are the Dragonlance board game and the Deck of Many Things. And I think both of those were incredible failures.
I mean, who's to say?
What are you naming this? Oh, Kyle. But so farewell, Kyle. The mothership
the Brink
has
watch
now,
is over?
Yeah, the Brink watch is over. Yes, right. Our watch
has ended.
Yes. We'll lay down our swords and allow him. So I don't have. There was a little bit of news. A woman is replacing him, but I don't know any details about her background or anything.
I bet it's computer games.
Find out. It's probably another Microsoft employee or something. But we'll see. But I can't tell just from looking at her. I can't. I'm not going to assume her race or anything. But I don't think Kyle got his wish. I don't think anybody with the correct criteria replaced him. So we'll see. So she'll be probably departing on that ship soon. But it seems like management isn't really very diverse at Blizzard. So I guess I don't know what we were hoping for. But farewell, Kyle, and Brinkwatch is over. Hope you enjoyed all of that nonsense. But yes, so so that's our exciting news for the 250,000th episode. Yeah, Matt even said, bet they hired a video game person. Yeah, if they're going to hire somebody from Activision and Electronic Arts, like some of the shittiest companies, they're obviously going to get that real corporate scumbag. But
I mean,
but they take orders.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? It's a corporation. You don't necessarily, at certain levels of the corporation, and I'm probably at one of them. You don't want people who are creative. You just want people who kind of get things done or do things, or at least have the ability to look like they get things done, right?
Right. Yeah. And I wonder if we were actually counting down the headhunters job search days, like right after they subjected Kyle to that, like they made him the front man for the OGL, and he's just like, I got to get out of here.
Well, you know what? I know nothing about him. Whatever. Maybe. Right? Like if you were smart enough, you're like, wow, I'm taking the fall on this. Okay, time to start looking around, right?
This is how they see me. Great. Yeah, falling on his sword. Well, farewell, Kyle, and we're going to dry our tears later, but let's move on
They're already dry.
to more exciting news. So scammers impersonating an 80,000 member board game Facebook group have gotten free games. Oh
okay.
God, how could this have happened? So somebody was impersonating. There is an actual manager, like a head, an organizer of one of these Facebook groups. So one was a 30-member, and another one was an 82,000-member community page.
Sorry, that's 30,000 member and 82,000 member community pages.
Yeah, these are so board game enthusiasts.
Right. Okay.
So the board game revolution, I think, and someone impersonated them. Impersonated the person heading, which I have their name, and sent emails to all these publishers and said, we're moving into reviews, so please send us review copies. And immediately some of the publishers, like Renegade, working for Hasbro, immediately started shipping stuff out. So and they even were able to obtain a Bestiary of Sigillium collector's edition.
Okay.
So anyhow, they were asking about collaborations. They were impersonating Thomas Covert. So Thomas Covert is the organizer of the Board Game Revolutions, and there was he immediately found this out. So it was only just a few days, but things had already been sent.
Right.
So
it's not like something that had been going on for a long time.
No, it had just kind of started. And the one person from Crowd Games, which was one of the game studios that sent copies out, said, I know Thomas and I know the Board Game Revolution community, so I only asked him about examples of reviews, and he answered that it's a new idea and so on. So I'm on a very high workload with our upcoming Kickstarter campaign now, so I decided just to send him a box and see what happened. And unfortunately, those games are now all on eBay, I'm sure.
Maybe.
Yeah, so...
didn't really think about that.
So it's funny that these companies... so that they... Daily Magic, another game company that sent games, also has its own case of imposter syndrome online, where a fake Instagram account based in Nigeria was contacting reviewers and publishers on their behalf, but just to dox them, just to get personal information and check business checking accounts. So maybe saying, we'll send you this, but we'll have to bill you for it. Please send us your checking account. So they have hired, Covert says for Board Game Revolution, they've hired a private investigator to track some of the packages. The locations of some of the packages sent were California, Louisiana, and Florida. So if we catch them, we will prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law, as this is not only identity theft, but now involves mail fraud.
And if Seinfeld has taught me anything, mail fraud is pretty serious.
Yeah, right. It's federal. And so this reminds me, I keep seeing these stories. Have you seen these organized Lego theft rings?
I have not, but I wanted to hear more, so I know how to get in on one.
That's where you would be working. Yeah, so it's just people that shoplift, like the $500 Lego sets. It's probably just the kind of grab and dash kind of stuff. But it's for an organized thing, and that they're just like, they've got this whole online business going on where it's all stolen Legos, because the profit margin is, especially if it's stolen,
right?
so high, because the price that sales price on these things are insane. Right. So this reminded me of that. It's like board games were getting enough attention. There's enough people interested. And especially if you get a hold of like some special version or an early version, if you're getting a review copy and you throw that up on an auction site or whatever,
so
you're going to get
I can kind of understand, like, if you have something that's going to be released, right, you getting word of mouth out there as early as possible is like it's advertising, right? Mm-hmm. And for the cost of shipping a game or something, like you could have a lot of good PR, right? So I think that's why it was maybe not a good scam, but why I see it working, right? Like, yeah, right. Before this releases, quick turnaround. Let's just send this out real quick so it kind of information gets out there quick. And we don't kind of research the person, possibly. Right?
Yeah. They're just, I think, a little bit lazy.
Or they're just overwhelmed. Like, we're trying to do all this Kickstarter stuff. Cool, just send them off.
Yeah, because that's what that's one company said. They got a Kickstarter coming up. We barely had time to focus on anything else. Sure, here's a copy.
Yeah.
And so this reminded me though, because this is a dead thing now. But do you remember the cutout bin at record stores?
No.
Okay, so there used to be. When you go to a record store buying vinyl records, let's go back a half a century. You're buying you're buying vinyl records, and they would have a cutout bin, and so it looks like the covers of the LP just in the corner are nicked with a circular saw.
Okay.
And these are promotional copies that went out to radio stations and were just kind of handed out to magazine music reviewers and stuff. And of course, those assholes immediately sold them, but the stores couldn't sell them for full price, so they sold them for like a flat, like $5 or like a discounted rate. But that happened also with cassettes. I think it may have died with CDs. I don't know if cutouts ever maintained I think actually they didn't damage the preview copies. I think you basically got an untouched, like pristine copy of a CD. So probably if you bought used CDs back in the 90s, you're probably buying a lot of review copies from radio stations and stuff. But that's that's exactly the thinking here. Is just like, let's pretend we're doing fake reviews so we can just sell the results. Yeah, because they're willing. Yeah, because like you said, that's part of their marketing budget. That's part of their promotion. They want to get the word out. Yeah. So you can prey on that. But I think there's enough, and especially with now social media and how everything's going to be digital, it's much easier to put a stop to that thing. Yeah, it would be. It's not just a phone number that is suddenly disconnected.
Gone are the days where you could just like write someone with a letter and request a new social security number.
Yeah, right. Put some cash in the envelope as well. Yes. Mm-hmm. So scams aplenty. So I guess that means board gaming is big enough that it's attracting the scammers.
Well, let me know when people are doing that with D&D books.
Okay, any moment now. Well, they'll be digital soon, so they've missed their chance.
Yeah.
All right, so your personal favorite, Phantasy Star, has come to the tabletop now. So we've got a new RPG. So. Yeah, it's Skydawn Studios is doing a tabletop RPG for Phantasy Star. So Phantasy Star is a old school, I guess like late 80s. Okay. It was the early, so very old school Sega RPG, in JRPG, very JRPG. And so it had many single player versions, and then they did an online MMO.
I think that's the only one I played.
Yeah, and Sega did some amazing things with the MMO where they screwed up the save file so bad they were corrupting people's hard drives and things. Yeah, they were really.
Didn't hear about that.
They really handled the updates and things for Phantasy Star Online badly. But you can enter the world of Phantasy Star, and they have the spaceships, the androids, the mags, and sentient active embodiments of evil known as Dark Fowls. Or maybe it's katakana, so it's Dark Force? I don't know. But either way.
I don't know.
So either way, you can. So this is all coming from Skydawn. So this is expected next year, so 2025. But if you join their mailing list, there's going to be an exciting announcement on August 15th about whatever they're doing. So head over to Skydawn and see what their newsletter is all about. So, of course, a cooperative storytelling game where you and your friends take on the roles of heroic protagonists in the boundless universe based on the popular Phantasy Star video game series. So it's interesting that. Sega thought, well, maybe it was a real cheap license.
Maybe.
Yeah. So how will this game work? Well, funny you should ask.
I didn't.
It's a sci-fi adaptation of 5e. Yay. So using the Esper Genesis rules system. So in the early days of 5e, I guess like around 2017, somebody did a sci-fi kind of kit bash of 5e, and it endured the OGL debacle. So it's here for you to play. So two of your favorite things together.
I got nothing against Phantasy Star, honestly. Like I didn't play it. I haven't played it enough at all to form any kind of opinion. But I already saw this and I'm like, oh, of course it's powered by 5e, right? Of course.
Yes. But back in the days of Espergenesis, so yeah, we'll see how that does. I think that might be a mistake. So you can build a diverse cast of characters using your favorite archetypes, such as hunters, rangers, or mystics, or forge a hero of your own design, or play the legendary personas of Alice, Landau, Rolf, Lutz, and Chaz Ashley. The best JRPG names ever.
Okay.
Yeah, so everybody knows those characters. But yeah, it's got, you still see people playing it in the old game streams and stuff. So it still has and I'm sure in Japan it still has quite a following.
Like you know what? I don't know. I don't know how much they had to pay for this license or whatever. But I mean, it might. Who knows, right? It might have been negligible enough where they're like, yeah, okay, you know what? I'm sure the people who own Phantasy Star license are like, yeah, whatever, right? Like, we get money from this license, and if enough people sell it, right, we might get a bit more, right?
And if there's some art assets and stuff, that would make it worth it for just kind of collectors and fans, is just to have a nice book of kind of collected art from some of the character designs and stuff. Yeah, those low poly model screen grabs would be great. Yeah. Oh, but anyhow, so another page in the history, the history leading up to the Butlerian Jihad. So humanity's war against the machines. Etsy has now chosen a side.
The wrong side, right?
Yes. So AI art is now allowed to be sold on Etsy in a new policy announcement.
Before I hear this policy, I'm really wondering how you can... Well, I was wondering how you could sell AI art, because like courts have already ruled like it's non-copyrightable, right? So I mean, but I guess that is why you can sell it, because there is no copyright. So it's kind of like the old like books like Dracula or Frankenstein that are like in the public domain, and you just kind of publishers just say, okay, here's a version of it. You want to pay it for it? I don't know. And I'm surprised Etsy has really kind of gotten out of control. And I think just to stay competitive, they're kind of allowing, because this used to be like where you went to get your handmade cosplay things and your jewelry and like things that were actually made by like for your
artisans.
Weird taxidermy stuff.
Oh yeah, right.
Like it
used to be a kind of an interesting collection of strange makers and creators doing stuff, and now I think it's just because like 3D printing really overtook it. So there's like so many people selling miniatures and dice.
I guess that I don't know if I mind that as much. It's like, sure. My feeling is like, okay, you've kind of set yourself up as a business, right? Like if I had a 3D printer thing, you set yourself up as a business, and maybe I don't want to do the back end stuff, so I'll just let Etsy do it. But I do agree, kind of like Kickstarter, Etsy has become something it wasn't intended to be in spirit.
Right. Yeah, and it's got and similar to Kickstarter, it's got such good discovery, because if you can't get noticed on social media, you can't get your SEO working so that people are finding your stuff, finding your website. Etsy will put it right on the front page, and you're a recommended seller. As long as you're in good favor, like you don't have any complaints, you get like a higher status, which means they promote you.
I also think that means I don't know. I've heard or I've seen people saying, please don't click on my Etsy ad because Etsy takes a bigger chunk. Like if it's one of those featured or promoted
that
things.
May be the case. But that still helps discovery.
It does.
If they're a returning customer, I think that would help you. So a number of items on the website are now consist of AI art. So I don't know if this is like digital goods or if it's actually like printed images. So customers have been asking Etsy for clarification on its position, and they've just recently announced their policy on AI art. People can sell AI art on Etsy, but the website has some specific limitations. So most things on Etsy are, you have to label them. So they're either labeled handmade or they're labeled designed. So designed is a drawing, an illustration, something that you didn't make yourself, but perhaps like, printed a drawing or had some, company do something. So you didn't make it with your hands. You drew it on with your mouse. I don't know. But so they had those two specifications, and now they're going to count. They said they're considering, this is the great line of their policy, they're considering that there's enough human input going into AI art that they can count it as being designed by a human.
That's just... That's ridiculous.
Yes, it's like about 12 keystrokes. Yeah,
That's ridiculous.
That was designed by a human.
Especially if they're counting like computer stuff, right? Like I understand. Okay, handmade. I physically carved this. I sculpted this. I did this stuff. But I mean, like digital, like drawn something with your Syntec pen, right? That's still kind of handmade, right? You still
you're interfacing just a digital tool.
Like sometimes the computer or whatever, it's just a tool the same way like a chisel is a tool, right? So I don't know, like they should have, you know what they should have done? They should have made, and this is if they actually wanted to be ethical and not just make more money, they should have made like an AI generated category.
Right. Well, yeah, that does come up where they allow it because of these classifications, but then their policy elaborates. So permitted examples of this might include a fantasy scene based on a seller's original prompt or inputs produced by an AI generator, or a custom portrait of a buyer's pet generated by AI tools. But sellers must disclose within their listing description of the item that it is created with the use of AI. So it's not going to be like part of maybe the tagging or whatever, but in the description you can say AI was used. So so this gets weirder.
Yeah. Jesus.
But the website will no longer allow people to sell AI prompts. So
hallelujah, right?
They used to sell, so available on Etsy used to be, I guess, a text file, like a flat text file with a comma delimited text file of collections of prompts that users could use to create images on generative AI machines like Midjourney. So a listing of, this, not this, this. Yeah.
Big titty anime waifu in cowgirl bikini.
Did you sell that? Did you? I'll buy that.
I could have made a fortune by selling that, right?
Yes. So, yes, selling a prompt for someone else's use is no longer considered designed by. Whatever. They're just.
I have to.
Yeah, they're just greedy as hell.
I have to wonder why. If design, what I just said, right? Like, I'm using this keyboard to type in the prompts that I have come up with myself, right? That was designed by a human, right? That's designed by a human.
It's very short fiction.
It is very short fiction, right? I mean, it's not even a narrative, right? Anyway, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, so it's weird, but so that's where they're standing, and I think they're just going to be flooded by garbage now. It was probably.
But do they care?
No, they don't, because if it raises their and like you said, if they're getting a higher cut by stuff they're sponsoring, they're just going to let that noise and trash exist, and they're just not going to touch it. It'll just be they'll just be taking their piece if people are buying it. So they so they stressed that in their marketplace they want to they share their mission to keep commerce human, and we're committed to using the power of business and technology to strengthen communities and empower people. Sure, whatever. I mean, all of these sites, Kickstarter and Patreon, all these sites, they have that stance of like, this is giving power to the people and letting people do things that otherwise, and they've just been co-opted. And once they see where the real money lies, then all of a sudden that kind of bullshit stance, fades away. So after carefully considering the complex issues surrounding AI-generated content, we've decided to continue to allow sellers to use their original prompts in combination with AI tools to create artwork that they sell on Etsy. So we believe this decision aligns with our values in supporting artists through the evolution of art. But
I don't know, man. We've already talked feelings about like whether AI is like art or not, and it's not. I mean, I suppose a very charitable. What am I trying to say? A very charitable reading would be Midjourney and all those ones are a tool that you are using to produce something, right? Cool. It's valid. Maybe use tools that haven't stolen untold billions worth of gigabytes of other people's stuff, right? Like when you pick up a chisel or a pencil or whatever, it's not like I've now stolen everyone's work, right? With all this, no. I think that's where it falls down. Where you talking about AI generating things as a tool. Yes, it is a tool,
but not ethical. Yeah,
not ethical.
Right. So I think, but that's going to be the problem now that all of the major, graphics programs are incorporating AI that they trained on things that they get no permission.
Artwork,
Right. So we're running into all of it. So everything basically that's going to be produced in the newest versions of the software is going to be AI generated to some extent. Like and so everyone's hands are going to be dirty. There's all digital art is just corrupted now by this. And even Canva, the people that bought so they're already so I
forget. Canva, that's right. Canva bought Seraph, which is the Affinity suite.
Right, and they're trying to like, how can we skirt around the AI issue and still put it in our software? So they're trying to figure out, without getting bad press, how to incorporate AI tools. So it's inevitable. I mean, we can't escape it, and now
doesn't mean we have to accept it.
No, that's true. And you can literally like stop updating your Photoshop. You know, it's like, okay, what version exactly did you start incorporating this crap? Okay, well, I'm going to use,
and then Adobe will just reach through the internet to turn off your thing.
Right.
That's part of the why I had done like the Affinity suite, right, by Sarah. It was like that one purchase, no subscription.
Yes.
Forever, and then recently after I bought it, they went to version 2, which okay, right? You gotta update the software. Then when I saw that, oh man, they bought by Canva, I'm like, what does this mean? I don't know. Just kind of waiting to see. It's been a long time since I booted up any of this software, but it's still kind of
Yeah. So that sucks, and it's just going to continue to get weirder and worse. But at least you can't sell your prompts anymore. I can't believe that was a thing. On Etsy. That's right. There's a trading. There's this like crazy trade of text files.
I'm imagining a very dystopian. You know what? Here's a new story seed for enmity.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
A dystopian future where people pay everything in AI prompts.
Oh,
right. That's become
That's
the currency. That's the currency,
right.
And like you can even like push it out. Like it's not even like digital anymore. It's like you've got like the food replicator, so it almost kind of becomes like you're doing recipes or anyway, like
And if there's some way to use the blockchain to like become the owner of that set of prompts, then this is mine. I have ownership, a copyright of these.
If you go to like the basement of the Louvre and like look on the back of the door of the broom closet, there'll be a note handwritten by me that says I own the Mona Lisa, and it's like that's what the fucking blockchain is, bro. Like no one who's not on the blockchain gives a shit whether or not this says you own it or not. Anyway, I think I broke Jeremy with that.
Nice. Yeah. So we'll continue to keep you updated. But consider it's all going bad.
Yeah.
And so for this next, I think this last story, we have to put on our spacesuits, right? And we have to take that classic meme pose where I'm going to be looking at that making of D&D book, and I'm going to be reading the disclaimer in it.
Okay.
And you're going to have a handgun pointed at my brainstem, right? So something like this, right? So I'm reading this disclaimer, and I say, what? Gary Gygax was sexist?
It always has been, all the way down, right? This is not news. Right?
So yes. So I figured we'd touch on this because the book is out. The big tome is out that reproduces unedited and with all the notes and stuff in the margins the original draft of so the name of the book that Wizards is producing is The Making of Original Dungeons and Dragons 1970 to 1977. So never before original draft of D&D crafted by Gary Gygax on his home typewriter with both Gygax and Arneson's annotations and corrections. And the preface, I think, is the problem. I think people wrote introductions, and one of them is no longer working at Wizards of the Coast. So yeah, I'm glad they're clearing out. But one of the so this is what's kind of frustrated people is they've and sadly enough, it was John Peterson involved in this as well. And the reason that this kind of came up and became a bit of a fight on social media is Peterson is a good kind of archivist of the history of tabletop and has done really extensive, really good work. I mean, his writing is very dry, but really thorough. And now Wizards has got him, so they're using him to for credibility, I would suppose. But yes, so there in the preface, there's things like some of the language created in the glory days of 1977 is presented warts and all, kind of like the Warner Brothers disclaimer that the streaming services are using. But there's a lot of things in early D&D, like they pointed out. There's just co-option of intellectual property. There's hobbits and Balrogs and Ents from Middle Earth in there. But they also talk about in this introduction the insensitive or derogatory terms and the sexist language. So people, it's like they're buying the people that would buy this book that are interested in this don't need to be told that, don't want to hear that. That's not interesting. It's not like there's not the theater kids and the children aren't going to be opening this book and going, oh, I'm shocked and horrified by how terrible these people were. If you don't know that already, if you don't know where this came from, what the hell are you participating in this hobby?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
It's crazy. But so the thing that brought more attention to this is Ben Riggs, the writer of Slaying the Dragon, kind of did a lengthy social media post kind of sounding off on, and I think we've kind of suggested this, but his the thing that he said, and it was a really, really long post for Twitter, the key to kind of looking at this thing as a whole is preserving this whole legacy, like knowing where this came from. Because if you're going to sanitize this and pretend like this didn't happen, of course that's good for Wizards of the Coast. That'll keep them clean and safe from any sort of criticism. But as a whole, to see the evolution of this hobby and to know where it came from, to know the thinking is important. So that was the name of his post was the D&D co-creator Gary Gygax was sexist, and talking about it is a key to preserving his legacy. So it's just part of it, and so he went on to talk about this, and early D&D, like they treated very lightly slavery, disparaged women, and also gave hit points to Hindu gods and things that so in the disclaimer, and it was this, and they're just using their standard disclaimer that they put on the DM's Guild and everything. These depictions were wrong then, and they are wrong today. The content is presented as originally created because otherwise would have been the same as claiming these prejudices never existed. Right. And and the sad thing is that means, like, Peterson, and they're kind of endorsing this, the way that they're treating this, and it would have been nice for them to kind of, in an academic way, in the kind of archivist way that they're dealing with this material, talked about that. And I think, and the other thing that instead of that back in the day or things were different then, it is important to kind of understand context, because there's all the forces that created this stuff. These are marginalized guys that didn't have great social
Use the I word. Use the I word, though.
Social life. That were, these guys would have been playing poker, or they would have been betting on football, or they would have been, and you notice in any of the photos, archival photos, there's not beer cans on the tables of any of this early. This is Wisconsin. Okay. Everyone is soaked in beer in Wisconsin. And so these are not guys that would, conform to any norm. So that's the place. So they're trying to make their own space, and it's just like, this is like nerd locker room talk, to be misogynist, to be prejudiced, to let your, like, just ugly ugly provocative stuff out. And so that was their space, and now we're going into that space and saying, I can't believe it's not like we're using that to, I guess, because the way that they're treating this, and the way Wizards is treating this is the origin of the Bible. This is the origin of the thing that all of their, everything that they're doing is based on. So it has to be pure, and it has to be translated from this pure source.
But I think that's, okay, you can turn that meme off. Sorry. I think that's kind of the problem. I would argue that's kind of the problem, right? Like, I agree. Okay, like, we're just going to present this, like, the whole thing, warts and all, is key to kind of, I don't know if preserving the legacy, but it's like sanitizing it is kind of the same as pretending it didn't happen, and it did, right? Kind of like you said, those Warner Brother cartoon thing. But I think with D&D in particular, I feel like the original D&D does get held up, like, as the Bible, and Gygax gets presented as this, like, messiah, like, perfect messiah of, like, how to run a game, how to do all this stuff, right? So I think that's part of the problem, where it's like, no, man, he was terrible. Right, like, whatever he came up with, like, he himself maybe was not.
But right. I think if you were alive then, you wouldn't have seen him as terrible.
Oh,
there's no way. There's no way you would have seen
that question.
Yeah, right. But I mean, because I was alive at that time, and I know that I would have seen him as those were very normal opinions, because that was, and people are forgetting, like, especially with this, like, the sexism charge. Mm-hmm. Okay, so specifically look at this. Things were changing socially so rapidly with the relationships with men and women entering the workplace, women's freedom with the birth control pill, reproductive rights, like things were changing so much. It was freaking guys the fuck out, just like gay rights and things in the 90s were freaking people out. So these reactions are very natural for the first time the culture ever had to deal with this. And so to say, I can't believe, and also the interesting thing, like there's a quote in here where Gygax refers to himself as sexist.
Yeah, I read that quote, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like that was I mean, I don't think racist was used, but bigoted, which is so people would call themselves, I'm a bigot, I'm sexist, because they did have views that I don't think men and women are equal, and that's all of what feminism and women's lib was working against. But that was a stand, but it wasn't. They weren't actively working to, burn houses down of single women or anything. That's
okay. That's kind of okay. Mm-hmm. That's kind of helped me reiterate my point. Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to have to go soon.
Oh, sure.
Okay, sure. Irregardless of whether or not those views were seen as normal for the time they were in, and I agree, context does matter. Mm-hmm. It's not then anymore.
Right. Oh, yes.
Right. So I think part of the problem, at least the way I look at it, is, like I said, Gary Gygax still gets held up as like the father of RPGs. Like this thing kind of gets held up as the Bible. Mm-hmm. And yes, times have progressed. So I think, or I wonder if it's far too easy for people who have the relatively extreme views and who will go burn down people's houses and whatever to point to this and say, look, the father of RPGs was also this way. Therefore, now in 2024, I am also correct for having these views. When the answer is no, you're fucking not.
I think I think that's very correct. I think that's very important to say. Yeah, this doesn't justify anything, especially with modern day sensibilities and how people should be treating each other. Yeah, you can't look back at this and say, "Oh, there we go." Now
I'm validated for having these views,
yes,
right? Yeah,
yep. Whites only
right? No
RPG
girls
tables
at the table, right?
Male,
unless you're going to play like the tavern wench that we all tag team, right? Because Gary Gygax said it was okay. When you're like, dude,
right.
Yeah,
and I think that is a problem with the deification or the the creators of these things. Like, we really loved the thing that they crafted, but looking at them as a person, and Lovecraft and everybody you
I know, man.
But looking at all of that, it goes back into that. It's like, okay, well, if you want to separate yourself from all of this, you have to do that, and we have to be thankful that there is a thriving RPG community that was inspired by D&D, but it has evolved past that.
Has it?
Yeah. I believe the indie RPG scene.
Okay,
has,
sure. Yeah.
I mean,
if only we're big enough, and if only Phantasy Star wasn't using fucking.
Yes, but so the hobby has changed, and I think it's good to be able to be honest about where it came from and the kind of minds that it came from, and and really think about if it would have come from, if this type of gaming, this kind of social activity would have come from a gay space, how would it have been any different? It would have been just as prejudiced against straight. Against the straight. Yeah, oh no, it would be very interesting. But all hypothetical. But I don't think they were just making this weird space for themselves, and they created an interesting form of entertainment from that. And I don't think, I don't think it's.
Well, now I don't have time to discuss it, but now I'm wondering if, like, okay, we have this like weird space where we're all kind of comfortable, and then it becomes mainstream, kind of like lots of other people doing it. Is there some kind of responsibility to, I'm going to use a poor word here, like sanitize it or whatever? Like,
well, to sell it, you do. I mean, because there was a quote that wasn't in here, but the one where Gygax calls himself sexist and talks about like the kind of biological differences between men and women, but he also says, I think the question was, can you make D&D for girls? And he says, well, no, like look at like Lionel Trains tried to make pink trains for girls, and that doesn't work. If we created this and we created this for ourselves, and I don't think, and he goes into his biological reasons, but he says we didn't create this for girls, so it's not going to be attractive to them. But that's the game that was originally created is not the thing that is attractive to women now. And now there are tables of majority women, if not all women,
God damn it.
playing D&D, and Chris wants to stop that. You're going to burn down those tables.
I am, and breaks my soul to see like people sharing like, check out this OC of this D&D character I drew. Right? We all just kind of role playing. Like, why in God's name are you wasting it on that murder simulator?
Yes.
Right? But okay, yes, fair enough, right? Like you're not really, without extensive marketing or people on the team, you're not really going to be able to design something that is appealing to kind of people outside yourself beyond a certain thing, right? Like, okay. I'll have to go look at the context. But yeah, I will agree that Gary Gygax would not be able to make D&D for girls.
Yeah, right.
With those views, right? Yeah. So kudos to him for saying, you know what, I won't be able to make one, right?
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like there's a couple of pages of this giant tome you can just kind of tear out because it's like if you need to be told this, you shouldn't even have bought this book in the first place.
Unfortunately, I think with a lot of stuff, we're at the point where, like, you would think people don't need to be told this. Unfortunately, you do. So how about we just tear those pages out and staple them to your head, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but it almost, I don't know, it feels like like lawyers are telling them to do that or something, that it's not even like for the sake of, people being treated better in the hobby or the hobby to be more inclusive. It's just lawyers saying that you need to include. But where can people find you?
On Blue Sky, Instagram, or sometimes Threads when I remember to cross-post stuff, and a very few select Facebook groups, mostly miniature-based. Frostgrave, Stargrave, and little 6mm and 2mm stuff. But
nice. Oh yeah, did you see Atlantic War Games Atlantic is doing they got their little.
I did, and I am horribly uninterested in samurai era.
It's all Japan.
But they did tease like Agincourt stuff, and I'm like, those look pretty cool. 10 millimeter is exactly between the 6 I already have and the 15 I already have. So I don't like. It's like, here's another scale for you to start, and I'm like, I don't.
Yes.
Cool. Can't do it, right? Unless they come up with something awesome, or unless the price is like really good, because it is the appeal. Like, like the box that you get like hundreds, of miniatures, which you need for such a small scale. But right. I think it's going to be priced better than Warlord Games, not Hail Caesar, like their quasi 12, 15 millimeter like Punic War stuff, right? Yeah. Anyway,
cool. All right, and it's going to be a wait for some more cartooning online, so look forward to the August live stream for Abuse Cartoons. That's what I'm doing. So Abuse Cartoons, and that'll be live on this channel as well, just to disorient everybody and confuse people. What the hell is going on?
We're diversifying.
Yes. And if you like what we're doing here on the weekly, consider becoming a weekling.
The strongest of all supporters.
You could do that at patreon.com/upturntable and just basically tell us what you want to hear about. More Gygax.
Less Gygax. More Kyle.
More Fantasy Star. Yeah, right. And so no more Kyle, unfortunately. So everyone that pledged at the Kyle level, I'm sorry, we're going to have to,
refund your money.
Refund your money.
I didn't say that. Sorry.
Yes, and the Kyle emojis and everything are useless now. They're useless. But and I'll upload the bumper if you want to, like, for nostalgia's sake, watch our little Brink Watch bumper. You can enjoy that. So yes, Upturn Table on all social media, and upturntable.com, of course, for everything that we're doing. YouTube and Twitch is where we live stream, and this will go up on the full audio of this goes up on Patreon on the RSS feed, and a cleaned up version goes onto your favorite podcast
catcher of choice
platform. Yes. All right. So thanks for listening and watching, and we'll see you next week.
Later, mortals.
Goodbye. There we go. So how is everybody doing? So I saw, unfortunately, on the chat, Acolyte was mentioned right at the end there. Oh, back to the Acolyte. Yeah, we had our wonderful, episode 7. All right. Yes. Oh, yeah. Yes, Matt. We both have family visiting. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why. Well, my cousin who's visiting was working in Southeast Asia, so he just extended the time because it's real close to just stop by, and it just extended stuff a week. But it's in-laws. It's Chris's in-laws. So that's what that's about. The excitement never ends. Because we lost such a larger than life figure. Yes, Kyle got his wish. Yeah, it took him forever. Yes, like all incompetent corpos, said Matt. Yes, of course. That's so funny. It was real, and so yeah, our count was off by like about 45 days probably. He bailed, and it probably was just because it didn't look like that was ever going to end. And if he was executive producer, he was kind of overseeing everything that was going on with D&D. So this is not a good sign. Them switching leadership at this this big moment when they're kind of switching over to a new version is probably not great. Or that might have been might have been part of the thing. They might have just had that talk with him. He got the hand on the shoulder, and it's like, Kyle, you failed us. You failed us for the last time, Kyle. Yes, and Orca says, awesome, the hobby is fixed. Yes. Now everyone can go back to D&D. Our long national nightmare is over. And Matt's right. Mars needs hot tubs too. So Kyle is going to... there probably will be the mothership does have a hot tub biz. Yes, he only lasted 1 year. I think Matt is underestimating the viciousness, the tooth and nail, the dog eat dog world of hot tub sales in Brentwood, California. Hey Walter, how's it going? Saw how many jerks ran the RPG industry since. Yeah, it's really depressing. It is the people that got on top of things really did screw it up. But there was I don't know. Ben Rigg's book is really interesting if you want to hear kind of about that transitional era from where Gygax is done, and I might be overlapping books now, but basically his book is about the handover to Wizards. So TSR being handed over to what's her face, and then that sale going, then the sale going to Wizards in 99. It's very interesting, and he's very. I think Riggs was very sympathetic about portraying at least the head of Wizards at that time of loving D&D and like being really sympathetic, like returning the original art to the artists, and doing a lot of things that really spoke to how much he loved the hobby, and he wasn't in it just to like monetize the hell out of it, just to squeeze it. The book he has, so Kyle had to brag about the deck of many defects as one of his accomplishments. Yes. I hope his replacement is better. Oh, maybe so maybe she's Latina. Interesting. Yeah, I'm curious what the that would explain the Mesoamerican orcs. Oh, right, because she approved those. That's interesting, Miguel. I didn't think of that. Yeah, I'll have to take a look. And now we can't. Well, I mean, I have no problem with making fun of her too if she, says stupid things on podcasts like Kyle did. So we'll see how that goes. And Walter says most of the original influencers have passed, but not all of them. Yeah, that is true. We've lost a lot of. But Ken St. Andre is still around, and Kuntz is still kicking, is still fighting the good fight. His replacement was Kylie Frink. Yes, a mysterious AI generated replacement for executive producer. Yeah, right. Get rid of the Hasbro guy next. Yeah, that's Chris. Was that Chris Cox? Yeah, we'll have to see what actually happens. Yeah, it's really strange. This was a really terrible year. So Kyle's next job will be Temu. Yes. Good suggestion, Matt. I think that's a perfect company for him. That's exactly like where his strengths lie. And a Seinfeld quote: "The post office never sleeps, Jerry." Yes, mail fraud for all the those review copies of games. It's so funny. Walter saying, "I wish I could throw my brother in jail for usurping my dad's company." Oh no, Judges Guild. He has ripped so many people off. Oh, Walter, that sucks. That sucks. Yeah, right. Judges Guild. Oh wow. Matt saying, "I just watched Rodney at Watch It Play do the Memoir 44 How to Play, and that company sent him the whole line. He had $500 of that game at least. Holy mackerel. Yeah, I guess if someone's going to do a free demo of all your games on video, why not? Yes, a flavor of 5e for your Phantasy Star. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, and that Etsy, that was really weird. That's weirdly disappointing. Yeah, my daughter relies pretty heavily on Etsy for selling a lot of her character goods and stuff. So I hope she doesn't get squeezed out, because she's already said that not even AI, but just other artists, like, it's so competitive in that kind of Etsy space that they rip each other off. Like if they see where your top selling items are, and then they just rip off those characters, because a lot of times that stuff is kind of gray market fan art. It's like fantasy Pokemon or Tomodachi or all that stuff. So it's it's another cutthroat industry, the Etsy space. Abyss says, every now and then you find stuff you would find on eBay. Oh, right. Yeah, that's weird. I think Etsy is trying to move more into that eBay junk selling space, which is a shame because they're going to lose their identity. I mean, they'll probably still make money, but we'll see. Yeah, people selling old magazines on Etsy. Yeah, there are. Yeah, it's weird because that is really hard to kind of limit yourself to a category and then just let all of that other stuff go when you could be getting a piece of all of those sales. Yes. Miguel says algorithms creating stuff that other algorithms will sell to algorithms. Everyone will be buying it. Walter saying, I backed a Kickstarter for hand-drawn dungeon tiles and was willing to support new creators. But another example is a tile set created by PC Software. Yeah, I didn't back the PC tile set and it costs more. Oh, interesting. Wow. Yeah, and hopefully, I mean, unfortunately, AI can come close to looking handmade, but hopefully what this will do if things, a lot of resources for gaming become obviously AI generated, is that it's going to create like a premium for things that are obviously hand drawn, or people that are just going to hand draw to prove that they produce this by hand draw them on live stream, so that there's kind of a proof that this wasn't just knocking out somebody else's style. Do you want to bet companies like Goodman Games and Steve Jackson Games using Kickstarter as a bank for projects? Yeah, that's becomes really that was Walter. Yeah, that becomes really frustrating when they it's just a pre-order system that it's low, it lowers their risk. They know how much they have to produce, and both Steve Jackson and Goodman Games cannot figure the shipping thing out, so they're only dealing with North America, so they're not even getting like the whole customer base in, and they're also not getting their stuff outside into the English speaking world outside of North America, which is just kind of a waste. Matt said, I stole 3 things similar to a chisel and meshed them together into a chisel that I sculpted with. That's an AI artist. Yes. Matt said, Goodman, I feel, should be beyond needing Kickstarter. Yeah, I would think their reputation and everything, but they seem stuck on it. Steve Jackson Games is super cheap and always has been. Yeah. So I get why he likes it. Are we doing the Ben Riggs silliness too? Miguel says, so when Chinese, Korean, or Japanese companies loot the Bible left and right for their anime, are they being insensitive too? Yeah, I think that's a very interesting point, because you see that so much anime is just inspired by like weird, cherry picking of religion and things that people would be sensitive to, but maybe they're just not. And I think when a lot of that stuff was originally done, like Evangelion and stuff, there was, not a lot of awareness of anime. It's become so much bigger now. So, yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting. People acting like they solved racism and sexism. Well, you just put the disclaimer, it's fine, problem solved. Never happens again. Nobody is ever denied anything. Yeah, online users are truly in a world of their own. Yeah, I think that's right. Oh, Matt saying the statting out of God's things never bothered me because I'm an atheist, and it's all perspective. To be honest, I do feel I do feel sad when all the old racist men who do not know that they are racist are being pushed out. They didn't even know. Yeah, I hope I wasn't saying that. Also, Matt is saying the thing with Riggs is he's done a 180. He whitewashed so much in his book, and now just drops a bomb on Twitter to get attention. Oh, well, yeah, that's true. He may be marketing himself, because he wasn't included. He wasn't part of that project. Peterson edged him out on that on the history book project. Oh, okay. Miguel says, Jeremy and Chris are wrong in justifying it in that way. Today's sensibilities are tomorrow's bigoted views. Oh, that's I wanted to. Yeah, that's a point I wanted to bring up too as well. But yeah, you're never going to. It's never going to be clean enough. It's never going to be pure enough, and there's always going to be something wrong. Yeah, and no, I think that's a really good point. Miguel is. Saying that it isn't we don't have the right view of everything today, and I think that's the problem with a lot of the the woke scolds and very self-righteous people on social media, is they're acting like like you guys were saying in chat, problem solved, we fixed it now, so just conform to just do what we say, and then won't be a problem with that. No, it's just, and a lot of it is just power grabbing. I mean, if you look at the industries that are the most affected by trying to be inclusive, it's all the nerd stuff that's easy to bully. Like, these people were already easy to bully, comic book geeks and tabletop geeks, and for some reason not anime yet, but these people were very easy to bully. They had their own little weird spaces, and they're just getting their asses kicked online. So, but I think that's a very good point. It's this unending, and it's just used. I mean, people are just, they don't realize, they think they're doing something good, or they have some kind of altruistic cause that they feel that they're serving, but they're just useful idiots for making money and for Kevlar on corporations to keep them as bulletproof as possible from any sort of so if we decide greed is good, then we're gonna have shielded ourselves from any accusations of sexism, racism, homophobia, all of that. It is all perspective, Abyss. You are right. Matt's saying, I'm gonna start rumors about all the old guys Dave Arneson was in defeat. I like to smell used gym clothes. There we go. You will get some good attention, Matt. I think you should work on that. Yes, but the winners always get to dictate the moral truths of the world. Yeah, very, very good. Very good point, Abyss. Yeah, and it is just, and it's being used. I mean, we're seeing very much when we're looking at the American political process, or even like European political process. There are useful idiots, people that don't realize that they're being used for their beliefs, their passions, the way that they'll react to stuff. It's amazing how useful some people are becoming. When something becomes super popular, you lose control of it. You just gotta let it go. Yeah, that's true. There's no going back, and I think that's the, with the OSR movement and everything. That's what we're seeing. The OSR genre. That's what we're seeing, is people missing that old time, like it could come back somehow. Like there's a way to recreate it, but better. And that's a good point, Matt. It is just gone. but but that does have its own consequences. Oh, interesting. Yeah. So, and then Miguel saying, yeah, so IP law is wrong. So yeah, just letting, I mean, and that's what I think people are also trying to defend in a lot of pop culture and a lot of hobbies. Like the gatekeeping that's occurring is because they don't want these things ruined, that they should exist. You should be able to enjoy them as they have existed at the kind of all stages in their evolution. Yeah, interesting point. We got megas because we let online discourse run rampant with this thing that should have been reeled in. Oh, interesting, Abyss. And Matt says, no, I'm speaking culturally. The grognards are mad about losing control, not the companies. And Abyss says, and we did not fight disinformation with an iron fist. Yeah, it's just going to get more and more difficult. I think, just interpreting what's going on in the world is going to become a very nuanced skill, because there is just going to be so much noise. And I think with the amount of information and the uncontrolled ways people can put stuff out there, I don't think disinformation is just going to be this weird, static that you have to, that you can't let override the signal. But I don't know if it's possible to limit it. So Abyss said, wouldn't be too mad if what you love got taken. Oh yeah, wouldn't you be mad too if what you love got taken away from you, got pushed out of circles you were in and shunned worse than a black sheep? Yeah, Abyss. That's I think that's what people are frustrated with is and like we were talking about, like they're trying to make a space for themselves, a space where they, just could enjoy, not be worried about their failings or their weirdnesses, and people just accepted them for who they were. And those spaces are being taken away because there are other marginalized people that are saying, no, we're higher in the marginalized rank than you, so we get to take this space away from you. And if you want it, if you want to participate in it, then you are not doing it correctly. You're suggesting censor disguised as fighting fake news. That's what the EU has been doing for the last 5 years, and many things. It's difficult. Misinformation. I think that's it's very difficult. So Matt says, keep playing. First, second, and third edition. That's the beauty of role playing. There's been so many games that come and go. And the nice thing, unlike some companies like Games Workshop, tries to just eliminate. They have digital archives of their old books, but they delete the rules and the stat lines from the digital books, so that you can't actually play the old versions. You can only play what they're selling today. But the nice thing about D&D is all that stuff exists. Like, people have preserved. It's been preserved so well that there's digital archives floating around of scans of all kinds of things, rare, bizarre pamphlets and stuff that you didn't even think would exist anymore. So it's good that that has happened. That Wizards doesn't have total control over the entire hobby, and they can just edit. They can only edit this new crap that it doesn't even matter. That's the frustrating thing too. As I think, once they get into that, and we've already talked about that, but once they get into the all digital releases, you're going to get these books that just get updates all the time. They're changing sentences and words and pronouns and things in books constantly. Yeah, it's really tricky. Not 4E though. Matt says, not 4E though. Never play 4E. You have to stop at 3.5. 3.5.1. Yeah, but what if you did not get to play those games anymore because publishers and players said no to you and treated you like an outcast? Yeah, that's the thing that I hope doesn't happen. And I think tabletop, fortunately, because a lot of the books are printed, and we have this, we have PDF ability to archive publications better than video games and stuff. Video games are losing so much of their history. They just talked about with the Xbox 360 store going offline, all of the stuff that they built for Kinect and all that stupid technology is just gone forever. It just won't exist anymore. I'm sure some people will try to find a way kind of reverse engineer it and archive it. And it's not like a lot of people's opinions, and I'm sure the company's opinion is not a huge loss, but it was a stage in the history. Body movement controllers were a stage, just like light guns and everything else in video games, that we should at least be able to look at again. Just like a VR, that's becoming really frustrating too. Some companies that produce games for early VR, those games are just gone, because if they did it for an early platform, those platforms don't even exist anymore. Yes, Games Workshop resetting rules every 3 years. Yeah, that's exactly the thing that really sucks, that we don't want to do. Like, they've had the control of that for so long. Yeah. Oh, bye, Walter. Thanks so much for hanging in and commenting, and enjoy your comments. And interesting thing, about the Judges Guild and everything. Yeah, good to see you in the chat. Except the Acolyte. Don't ever pirate the Acolytes. That was the last thing I saw. Stone mines can burn down. That's very good. Yeah, and you just have to hold 2 buttons. Any droid in the Star Wars universe, you hold 2 buttons for like 5 seconds and factory reset. So yeah, I wonder if that even works in like the prequel battle droids and stuff. If there's like 2 buttons you can hold, that would be awesome. Oh yeah, Abyss. Thanks so much for the memberships. You're very, very kind. So I don't know why Allies such a hard time busting Nazi fortifications with big bombs back in World War II. What are we talking about? Oh yeah, we're talking about the flammability of stone. Yeah, that's why we could have just dropped matches and burnt all those fortifications down. Yep, Abyss is right. Anybody that doesn't like the Acolyte is racist, homophobic. That's true. Crazy. Yeah, there was no. Yeah, Kyle just like snuck away. There was no press or anything. It just like, if people didn't find that on his LinkedIn, I don't think there would have been any. Anybody talking about anything. That's really weird that they like so quietly replaced their executive producer. Crazy. Clarion is saying, is everyone here Patreon supporters or channel members? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think everyone is. Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, the chat is the hardcore, the devoted. Oh, but not Abyss. Abyss, you're a member. You're a YouTube member, aren't you, Abyss? Yes, my greed shall overwhelm you. No, Clarion's been awesome. Clarion more than paid for hanging out on the channel with that awesome review of the spice visions of each of the players on the Dune campaign. Thank you so much. Yeah, Clarion is awesome as in our actual plays. That's wonderful. Unfortunately this will be the second week of no Dune. I'll try to get the next episode, or the next session of John Carter up to make up for that. But unfortunately we've got other obligations, so we can't meet this weekend either. And we've got and Matt said he will be sending out the pre-gen, the characters for Conan, so we'll give Monolith Conan a shot. Yeah, Clarion is very awesome. I'm so glad because originally said he was just lurking in the actual plays, and now he's a wonderful member of the chat, and so good to have around with the actual plays, with keeping us honest and where we're going with that. And Carolina, hey Adrian, Carolina, how's it going? Good. Abyss says, I am never wrong. I've edited Wikipedia to make sure. Oh, that's who did that. Oh, I knew it. Abyss has an in with Oh, cool. Oh, thanks. Clarence said, enjoying the John Carter. Good. Yeah, it's our first. Apologies for the big the rules lookups and the mistakes, because it was our first 2D20 and kind of our first kind of longer campaign with 2D20, because the Blade Runner and everything was quite quick, and Vaesen was easier to run, a little bit easier system to run. Nice. Abyss has edited that Disney never has to explain anything. The lore, whatever. Yes, they're just creating lore as they go. Yeah, it's really funny. Yeah, so I think we did 10 or 11 sessions of John Carter. So it gets huge, and I really liked. I was surprised that was just their starter campaign that they included in that Kickstarter, but it's really expansive. Like they give you details, and they give you the ability to just basically go anywhere on Mars, on Barsoom. So it was very cool. I was surprised how well that worked for our first campaign. Hey, Chris, thanks for the sub, much appreciated. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes with. So yeah, I'm not sure. So the week after this one, 19th, we'll have to see if we're back on Dune, or we're back or not in Dune. We're never going to be on Dune, I don't think, or if we'll try out some Conan Quick Start. Oh yeah, so we had personal momentum in John Carter. Were we doing that right? I think so. I think so. I think because they were making it like heroic, I don't think it was shared. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And because I did a rules, I did a rules run through for John Carter. So when we played that first starter session, in person at the table. And I think I had everything, and I think I was a little too overconfident because I had done the rules summary sheets for that introductory thing that we played for the podcast. I thought I knew the rules much better than I did, and when I went back, but I'm pretty sure I think that's how they had it. It wasn't a shared pool, because each character was kind of doing their own thing. Each character had their own action moments. But hey, dude, how's it going? Yeah, I don't think it was a shared. I don't think it was a momentum pool, and I think it was like a maximum of 3. It was a little different. I'll have to go back and double check. Yes, it's so long. Nice. Very cool. Yeah. Each kind of iteration, and I think when I was looking back at their Kickstarter, they were calling it. Oh, I forget, but they called that system something else, like their momentum system or something. They kept, kind of giving different flavor, different emphasis to the versions they were doing of D20. It's really interesting. I really want to see the full Star Trek 2nd edition rules now. I wonder if that could get us to go back to Star Trek. They need to release another one of those kind of adventure compendiums, because I think that's really fun, the weekly adventure stuff. I don't think I'm well versed enough in Star Trek to actually write one of those. I think I have more confidence about Dune and a ton of source books than I would about Star Trek. But nice. Yeah, but I really I would like to see what they did, because taking away those D6s, it's going to make combat interesting. I think every combat then is going to be just an extended task where you're not doing damage, or you're kind of doing damage, but you're just wearing down someone's a battle score or their strength or whatever. So it's going to convert people's stats are going to serve dual purposes if they do it like Dune. And it's going to be so confusing with these little nuances between these systems. It's going to be so confusing. Oh, right. And determination was luck. That's right. Yeah, and they themed everything in John Carter. And I like that you guys, like, and maybe it's just because of the setting, but it immediately became, jumping off roofs, jumping between, air cars and stuff. Like you got right into the spirit of, I'm just going to take out my sword and just, swing, swing down into the room. Yeah, that's right. Luck. Yeah, with all those little changes though, I'm always going to be guessing wrong if I'm just trying to, if I'm not looking up a rule and just trying to do it out of my head, from the top of my head. Soon it will be time for a Discord and a political podcast. That's where we're going to be taking our political stance. Our movement is going to have to go worldwide soon. And just reacting. I can't believe YouTube keeps recommending. Like I've been kind of getting into people doing deep dives in like movie series, or like how things fell apart for how movies and their sequels just kind of like degraded and fell away into like kind of uselessness. I've been watching a couple of things like that, and then I keep getting recommended watching someone watch Alien for the first time. Like watching someone watch The Fellowship of the Ring for the first time. Who is interested in that? That is like a whole other weird genre, because if it's somebody you don't know, I guess if it's a streamer or somebody that you like their personality and you're curious about what they would think of something. But if it's just some random person that you want to watch be scared of a movie, it doesn't make any sense. I don't get that. I don't get that aesthetic at all. And they just keep recommending. And have you guys noticed too, the weird thing on YouTube is now that they've gotten rid of Google Podcasts, anything that people are listing, and I think people have figured this out, have listed as podcasts, is getting heavy recommendations. And I guess as soon as they start the channel and they call something a podcast, because I keep getting episodes like episode 3 or episode 7 of the Crazy Squirrel podcast, and it's got 2 views. And I'm like, why is this being recommended? But I think it's they're trying to they're just pushing traffic into podcasts, because that became part of YouTube Music now. They killed the Google Podcast platform. React. Let's just react to things. Actually, though, Matt was I saw. So if you don't go to Matt's Substack, Matt's doing an interesting thing. So roll for cinematography. I think that's a really, really good approach. On the old podcast, we did this thing called movie mining, where we would watch a movie and then afterwards we would just kind of talk about the ideas that you could kind of steal and some of the inspiration. Like I think Logan was one of the ones we did for that, like how to play older characters and what's interesting about aged out, like at the end of their life, heroic characters, and why that would be interesting. But I think Matt had a really good approach, because talking about the movie, but then also statting out a character, or statting out an actual villain in the movie. I thought that was brilliant. Good stuff. So Matt's Substack is in the description, so go check that out. But I was thinking though, using Discord and Patreon and the stuff we have, we should do that is watch a movie and then so have it be the whole kind of process, because that would help you then content for Substack, and then I could do kind of the movie mining thing for this channel, and you could do the roll for cinematography, and from the same content, like we could, but the watching part would be a little bit easier. That's right. Matt's character was very pantsless. You went all in on the disguises, and the disguises meant being pretty naked most of the time too. That's right. Yeah, you kind of like lost your. Yeah, that was the funny thing, is like, actually in that aesthetic, everyone's just wearing harnesses and like some kind of loincloth or something. But nice. Uh-oh. Miguel's calling me an old fart. L's and W's everywhere. Yeah, I definitely age myself by like not wanting to watch people react to things. Nice. Politics and my game talk is like pouring pickles in my pickles on my cake, pickle juice on my cake. Nice. Yeah, really good stuff. Yeah, that was really inspiring. Nod while watching. No, I think and maybe something like we've already seen, but like I think having like an active discussion while watching a movie of and it may be a lot of tangents and stuff, but watching a movie and just kind of talking over. Let me turn subtitles on if you're actually wanting to see what's going on in the movie, but just using it and just have a kind of a brainstorming kind of inspiration session, all inspired. And we could watch really stupid stuff, like the great 80s B fantasy movies and stuff, and old Corman stuff. Yeah, that would be really fun. And then it would be a way for us to do stuff so we could kind of hang, so it would be a hang watching the movie and just talking about it, and then we could actually make content based on it. But yeah, when I saw that I was like, oh, that's such a good idea. Very good. Lion class are +4 armor. Nice. Oh, nice. Dude's trying to keep the cell phone going. No, I haven't. I haven't watched Black Angel. Yeah, that would be worth taking a look at. Yeah, it sounded really interesting from your write-up. Oh, that would be fun. Yeah, if Will would be. Because I would like. Yeah, because I think Will would have a nice other opinion, especially with like game mechanics and stuff. I think that would be really cool. Might be a really nice session. Very cool. Oh, I do. Yes, I haven't opened it, so I don't know if it's empty or not. I didn't get the French version, so maybe there's something inside. I've got to do an unboxing. I've been so busy with stuff, but the PDFs. I think I did. I did get PDFs. They were in the backer kit or whatever. The links that the downloadables in the pledge manager. I forget which one they used, but yeah, I got to open the mothership stuff. Oh, and I got a giant box. I didn't even realize that. Is it still the Trudvang, the command Trudvang setting? They have the RPG now. It's up here. It's here somewhere. But they sent out the base game a long time ago, and I haven't opened that because I was waiting for the whole thing. And then I got one of those giant child coffin size boxes of all the supporting stuff, because I guess they had to go through a huge redesign of the mechanics and things for the board game, so there was a huge delay on it, and it's finally all out, and it just showed up. It just like I didn't get any notification or anything, but this giant box. The delivery guys hate that because they're ringing a doorbell and holding, because the Japanese delivery guys they're polite. They don't want you to open the door and you see they've put your package on the ground. So they ask permission to leave it on the doorstep, but when they ring the doorbell, they're holding it. So if it's like a really heavy box, they're standing there holding it when you open the door. It's too polite. Oh yeah. I'd really like to do that that comparative alien thing too. Yeah, I'll have to take a look because we could almost. Yeah. I think that'd be fun. That'd be a fun comparative, like especially just do one session, because I think we could get through. It'd be a little long, probably longer than our 4 hours, but I've got enough, I think, experience playing the Chariot of the Gods that we could go through that. If you guys haven't played that, oops, sorry. We could go through that and then do a Mothership kind of one shot, and then try it in Outgunned with their alien rules. Sorry about that. All right. Yes. So I got a big box of. So I hope. Come on. because they have the rights now. I think Riot Minds just sold off everything, so they have the rights to that setting. So I hope they do something good with it, and not just that. We're just frustrated with that board game and then that's it. I hope they actually produce an RPG with an interesting system. It'll probably be 5e, but an interesting system for that setting. Oh, that's right, because Riot Minds did that as well. They did a 5e conversion for Trudvang. Yeah, that's right, because at the end, right before they kind of died off, or they sold it off, they were doing those dual campaigns where you could buy this or that or both. Oh yeah, the mug. Yeah, this is the Redbubble mug. No, that's right. No, this is the gelato ones. No, I've got to get the link for gelato. I haven't done that. Sorry, I haven't put the gelato link out. Just the Redbubble and the Teespring. Yeah, the only one that YouTube will let you link on the page. So yeah, everything underneath this video, this live stream, is Teespring. Yeah, the store. Sorry. So I'll get that. I'll get that up there. Oh, and it's on the live stream. It's not there. Maybe the chat's covering it up. Whatever. I don't even know what. Yeah, I think when it's playing from the archive. Oh, cool. So, yeah, I think we'll be pretty regular schedule though for the weekly, and then so next week then we'll hope to be back on track for the actual plays as well. That's cool. Oh, the Dragonbane rules for Trudvang would be so good. We have to do that. Yeah, we have to do that. That would be great. Nice. Yeah, that's a really good idea. Much better than that system Riot Minds was pushing, the point buy. Brutal. Yeah, Matt said you said, Matt, you guys tried to play that. You guys tried to play the original Riot Minds. Do a mug unboxing. Yes. Yeah, and I'll have to I'll get that link up. Probably the website will probably be the easiest way to do that, and then I can put a link in the in each of the videos. Yeah, can't find one place to do all the merch though. But that only means it's going to be decent quality. Yeah, I haven't ordered any samples from Teespring. If you guys have any experience with them, let me know if I should not put a lot of effort into posting designs on there. Yeah, it's very strange. All right, well, good. So no more Brinkwatch. That's the funniest thing. Yeah, and we'll see what changes. I'm curious if it's going to be a noticeable difference with Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, it's going to be a weird year anyhow of them getting those books out. Yeah, weren't they doing like weird pre-order bonus stuff? That smacks of like a Hasbro decision. Pre-ordering the core books. They just want to get those they want to get those numbers figured out so they can stop selling physical goods and move everything to digital. Yeah, it's gonna be a weird transition. All right. Well, cool. Well, yeah, so good to see everybody in the chat. Thanks so much for yeah, there are some. Yeah, I think I put a mug. There are different mugs. So this design was the kind of experiment. This is the design for the stream, and this was on a different site that I haven't posted yet. But I think there are mugs with the just the table logo on them, but the totally inverted table, flat on its face, that are on Teespring. Yeah, but these are the guys that do I love this their printing area goes all the way to the edge. A lot of them are just kind of a printable band area, and the color reproduction on some of the other stuff was not great. Mug unboxing upcoming. Making camp required 4 different skill rolls. Nice. Okay, I'll get that link going. I think they do have decent. It's not. I don't think they're based in Japan, so they have decent shipping internationally. But I will get a link to you guys. The Mug Club. All right. Yeah. Dark blue. Yeah, dark blue background and the 2 kind of logo colors. And this one I designed specifically for these dimensions of this mug, because every shop's kind of got slightly different. Their on-demand printing stuff is a little bit different, has different specs and printable areas. But yeah, let's do that. Oh yeah, who is the artist? It's a very kind of 90s comic book look, isn't it? Yeah, there's no signature. Yeah, it does have that. I think this is when they did that. I forget which anniversary it was, but when they did the white box, the re-release of the white box, they had a fantasy art, it kind of looks like a comic book artist, do illustrations to replace each of the kind of iconic images of the on the white box. So I'm not sure who the artist is. It probably wouldn't be hard to look up, but I think this was only done for that anniversary reproduction, that $400 or whatever version they did of the white box. I think so. Yeah, I'm sure if it's Wizards, it's going to be hard as hell to get an artist credit. So yeah, I think those are all. Yeah, it was for 40 year. The 40th. So 10 years ago. Yeah, it had a dice set and a bunch of stuff. But it looks like the same artist, did the cover for all of the booklets. Let's see if they mention it. Oh, it was 150 when it came out. Yeah, that's. I'm thinking it's like 400 because that's what the resellers are doing. But no reference to the artist. But yeah, but I like this. I like this style. It's a fun update to that kind of classic art. Nice. Yeah, they definitely don't care about. Don't care about the artist. Typing on the phone. Oh yeah, I just saw the same software we're using for this stream. This version of OBS I can run on my phone. We got to do some like game store. You got to see like the board game cafes and stuff in Japan one of these days. That would be fun. IRL stuff for the channel. But I gotta upgrade my phone before that happens. Anyhow, it's tiny and old. All right. Well, cool. All right. So let's do this again next week. So thanks everyone for hanging out in the chat. Nice. Yeah, you got to watch this in 4K on the big screen. The only way to enjoy the live session. All right. Oh yeah, that would be fun too. Yeah, I really want to go on like a Saturday to the Warhammer shop in Japan so you can see like Japanese Warhammer fans playing, because it's a super tiny space and they have I don't even think they're 4x4. I guess they have to be. I think they're smaller though. They might be 3x3. These little 3x3 tables, like a little row of them, and people playing the various games. But it's funny, yeah. Sometimes they get really raucous. But that'd be a fun thing. Although a lot of stores in Japan are sensitive about cameras, and you got to be careful with live streaming, especially if you're a foreigner. People have become kind of nuisance. So it may not be as interesting. I have to probably get permission ahead of time just to make sure that, it doesn't get too ugly. Yeah, the Namba store is so tiny. Oh, cool. Yeah, I haven't been to the Kobe one. I've been to the one in Jimbocho, the kind of book area in Tokyo. That's the only other Warhammer store I've seen. Yes, a little bit better. Yeah, the butt cracks in BO are a little bit more under control. Yeah, I haven't noticed. There's some pretty fanatic. I think people that get into their games, like if you go into any of the game stores that have the card playing areas, some of those like turn into like crazy mahjong parlors. Where there's like guys in tank tops like throwing cards at tables and stuff. It gets pretty sweaty and crazy. But and those are just those silly battler games with the cute little anime girl cards. It's weird, man. But yeah, thanks everybody for hanging out in the chat. It was really fun. And Walter, yeah, I gotta find out. Walter was visiting us, so I'm going to do a little Judges Guild research and find out who that was. That was a great pop in. So take care, everyone, and it was good to see everyone in the chat. I'm glad the timing is working. You guys are super tired. I'm sure it's getting super late, but we'll do this again next week. So take care, everyone, and see you next time. Goodbye.